Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the energies for January 2021 for life path number 6. So sixes. Okay, so January is a universal 6 month, and a couple of things that make that really interesting. One, we just had a 6 universal month back in November. And two, obviously, 6 is your energy. So again, you may feel these energies that the collective are feeling. You may feel them a little bit more intensely. But if anybody's prepared for it, you are. You may see, or we may see collectively, some resurfacing of some things that popped up back in November that still need to be addressed or need to be completed, or they may be coming to fruition or something like that. But it just feels like a kind of a resurfacing of energy around family, community, health, that sort of thing. So just be aware of any of those things that kind of pop up that still need your attention or need to, again, be completed in some way. We may see collectively sort of this influence or this need for honesty, fairness, and genuine concern for others. So I feel like this month we're going to have an opportunity to really, get reacquainted with empathy and understand what it means to have empathy for another. So there may be opportunities this month to have some really honest conversations with others and with yourself, and to make sure that your actions are fair, right? So I think that we're going to be revisiting these areas of sort of the human psyche in our actions and how we approach life in general and how we approach ourselves. So be aware of that, because I feel like that could be coming up quite a bit this month. There will also be a re-emphasis on setting healthy boundaries. So again, not only adhering to and respecting the boundaries of others, but setting those healthy boundaries for ourselves. So sixes, make sure that you pay attention and don't take on any unnecessary obligations. So be mindful of taking on those overly burdensome commitments. You get to choose how you invest your energy and your time. So choose wisely, right? Sometimes sixes will have a sort of a tendency to be overgivers or say yes to the point of where they become a doormat. And that's not necessarily intentional on either side. It just kind of happens because of your, genuine giving nature. So this month, just kind of be discerning in where you choose to invest your energy and your time. And those, maybe say yes to those things that feel more sacred for you, and say no to those things that just feel like you're doing them out of obligation or because you don't want to hurt another person's feelings. Again, coming back to that honesty, be really honest with yourself this month, and be really honest with others of what you feel capable of committing to, and what you feel is just sort of more burdensome. You may see an added influence on children, family, or a change in your living situation. And so that could simply mean that you become pregnant, or you have a baby, or you adopt. You could have someone in your family who needs extra attention this month. It could be that you have an elder parent or someone in your family who needs to come and stay with you for a while. And so that's a change in a living situation. Or you may be actually selling real estate or and moving locations. You may be changing, you've lived in the same town for all your life and now you're moving to a new location. So again, change in living situation. So just be open to any of those changes that come in. We are in a 5 universal year, being 2021. And so changes will probably be frequent and unexpected, but you just got to kind of roll with the punches and surrender to it as much as possible and go with the flow. So there may also be a really strong need for finding your own peace and harmony this month. This is where we might see a lot of polarity, because I feel like in the collective, we're going to be seeing a lot of that divisiveness, that chaos. So this is really a call to drown out that external noise as much as possible and not participate in it as much as possible. And find those things that bring you peace and harmony. Find that peace and harmony from within and tap into it as much as possible to bring back your own sanity, okay? Because I do feel like collectively we're going to see some things transpiring that will feel a little bit more chaotic. And again, we just have to remember that we get to choose how we participate and what we invest our energy into. So if you need to unplug from social media, then unplug from social media, okay? Whatever works for you to find your peace and harmony and your inner sanctuary, okay? There's also this call this month with this sixth energy for beautification. So you may be feeling the call to beautify self through maybe a makeover or getting your hair done or trying a new makeup or whatever the case may be, starting a new a new fitness regime, regimen, whatever comes up for you. You may be looking to beautify your home. So maybe you're starting some kind of remodeling adventure, or maybe you're buying some new furniture or whatever. Or it may just be a case of where you just want to spend some more time in nature and surround yourself with the beauty that is nature. So the question is really, how can you bring more beauty into your own life and more peace and harmony? Okay, because that's going to be up to you to find those ways that work for you. Okay, so January. So I pulled an animal spirit card to kind of get an overall view of what the energies may hold for you, specifically sixes. And I love this. You guys. And so Ladybug says, this is a time of good fortune and abundance. So be willing to receive all good things in your life. I love this. And it's interesting because the very first week of January, I see this energy pretty strongly. So I want to I broke down January into 4 weeks. And what's interesting is, and just remember, energy is fluid, so it can come in a variety of ways whenever it sees fit. But what I find really interesting is the very first week of January, there is like this really strong emphasis on money. And so be aware, right, of how you are spending your money, how you're hoarding your money, what your relationship is with your money. What your relationship is with other people's money. Do you find yourself being bitter or judgmental or envious of other people who have, mass amounts of wealth or whatever the case may be, and you have a lack mentality? This is really going to be an energy around checking your mindset. So what is your relationship with money? Because remember, money is an energy, and we all have access to the abundance of the universe. And money is a form of that abundance. And so it's kind of like, it kind of comes back to our relationship with money and the lessons we're meant to learn in this lifetime around money. So the more work that we can do to get our mindsets right, to get our mindsets in alignment to be receiving of that abundance, then the more we open the floodgate for it, right? The more we tap into that divine right that is ours for abundance. And abundance can mean different things to different people, right? I feel like at the beginning of the week, this is very specifically geared around money. So if you are a 6 who has a really strong lack mentality, or fear of lack, fear of going without, maybe you have a substantial amount of money, but you have a really intense fear of losing that money. So you hoard it, right? Or you don't, or you're really thrifty with it. You're not circulating it, right? And it's an energy, so it's meant to be moving. That's the key with energy. It's constantly moving. It's constantly changing form. So with money, it's meant to be circulated, right? And it's meant to do good. There is obviously a lower expression of that energy, which we see all of the time. But it's kind of like this first week of January is helping or asking you to get really in tune with how you really feel about money. What did you sort of inherit when it comes to your relationship with money? Because a lot of times that's also, that's passed down from generation to generation. And so if you are if you have parents who were in the Depression, or you have somebody who went through major loss with money, you probably incorporated some of that energy and have some kind of a lack mentality around losing money, right? And so it's, again, Or you could be somebody who feels like you're constantly struggling to make ends meet, or you're constantly struggling to make money. So again, it's really comes down to the energy and the relationship that you have with it. Now, again, we do have certain lessons that we're meant to learn around certain things. Some are very physical, some are very energetic, like money. And so those lessons are going to come in regardless of what our mindset is, right? But once we learn that lesson, once we overcome that, then we gain those resources and we gain that wisdom so that when we face those challenges in the future, we're able to overcome them much more comfortably and quickly. But I feel like sixes, this feels very specific, and this feels like it could be a theme for you throughout 2021 to really get your mindset adjusted and aligned when it comes to money. Okay, so this is going to be an opportunity for you really to dive in deep around your relationship with money and how it influences your experience. Okay, and part of that is your ability to receive. So if you have a hard time receiving money from others, whether that's, you own your own business and you charge too little because you don't feel like your time is valuable or worthy of a higher price tag, or whatever the case may be. This is just going to be, I think, an opportunity for you really to investigate that and explore that relationship that you have with money a lot more deeply, because the more that you explore it, the more that you're aware of it, the more that you can move into alignment with that energy and open the floodgates for that abundance. Okay, again, whatever abundance means to you. But it's more about circulating that energy and having a healthy relationship with it. So this week, or at this time, I feel like you're going to start to see where you may have an unhealthy relationship with that energy, or where you're solid and where you can continue to nurture and grow that relationship. So however it comes in for you, but just be aware, I do feel like this is very specific. So however it comes in, but yeah, it feels very much about getting in touch with your experience, your emotional attachment to money and that relationship that you have with it. And then this is all kind of moving you towards, again, building a healthier relationship with that energy so that it's no longer holding you back if it is, okay? Then we move into the second week of January, and it's interesting because I'm really being drawn to relationships at this time, and what I'm really being drawn to is that sense of honesty and fairness. And so again, I feel like you may have an opportunity this week to have some really honest conversations with yourself and with others. And, usually those are the most difficult conversations. So nobody's saying it's going to be easy. But, and it may be that somebody is having a really honest conversation with you. And so you need to be really receptive of that and understanding. And of course, we bring in that word empathy. So I do feel like this week is going to be around relationships and sort of healing those relationships that need to be healed, or releasing those relationships that need to be released. For some of you, it could be a new relationship coming in that will, show you new things, bring you clarity. It could be a romantic relationship that, this person is meant to start this new journey with you as we begin this new year. So yeah, but it does feel like clarity. It feels like healing energy. It feels like being very open and vulnerable. And so if there's a relationship where you haven't been completely honest with that person about how you feel, what you need, I think that's going to come up for you. And I think it's really, really important. I think vulnerability is very, very important to have a healthy relationship, but that honesty is really standing out. So I feel like, again, there's going to be a call for that. You, of course, get to choose. You have free will. But there's going to be some opportunities, I think, for you to have some very honest conversations with people around what you need and around what you would like to see, happen in the relationship, so that you can feel fulfilled and so that you can show up in a healthier way, okay? It is not really about expectations. It's about what you need to feel supported or secure or happy within that relationship, okay? And understanding that that person may or may not be able to meet you there. And then that's another conversation. But I feel like there's going to be some opportunities for conversations. This doesn't have to be just romantic relationships. This can be with family, because remember, we may see like sort of this re-emphasis on family and community this month. So if something came up for you in November, it may be that it's kind of resurfacing or bubbling to the surface to be readdressed or fully addressed. So maybe you kind of shoved it under the carpet in November, and it's like, no, we're dealing with this now because we're starting this new energetic year, and we need this honesty, okay, and this fairness. So interesting energies, first and second week of the month. Pretty powerful, actually, but if those are some things that you've been kind of struggling with, or kind of need to occur, then I think that you're going to have opportunities to do that. Then we move into the third week of January, and it's interesting because I feel like there could be some really beautiful recognition from another. I still feel like we're still in the realm of relationships here. So I feel like you could be getting some accolades, some recognition, it's kind of like you have this honest conversation, and you open the floodgates for a lot more potential within that relationship, right? You're allowing it to grow in a much more beautiful way, in a much more healthy way. This could also be sort of a newer opportunity coming in for you, a newer offer. But it does feel like kind of recognition. I'm also getting like a proposal energy that leads to a wedding type thing. So for some of you, you may be taking a relationship to the next level. It doesn't have to be necessarily that, but it does feel like there's an offer and then there's some kind of celebration that follows. So however that comes in for you, if you're thinking about making an offer to another person, that feels very, very supportive. Or supported, so go for it. But I do feel like kind of this offer coming in for you, it doesn't necessarily have to be around relationships. It does feel kind of like where there was sort of, I'm kind of seeing like a desert. So where there was like a drought, now you're kind of like, it's kind of opening the floodgates a little bit for you into something that's more emotional and fulfilling. So that feels really, really beautiful. So pay attention to the offers that come in for you that are on the third week of January. They feel very supported. They feel like they're showing up for you in support, right? So beautiful energy there. It could also be around work. So some kind of promotion or something like that, where you're getting accolades or recognition. Then we move into the fourth week of January, and it's interesting because I'm really getting this sense of sort of chaos or not really seeing eye to eye. Like people trying to be on the same page, but they're really not. And so this is actually where I'm getting kind of that energy around the need for peace and harmony, and where we may see that polarity. And so where you need to stand your ground and find your own peace and harmony. So if you're kind of getting all these requests from the external, like all these people need your attention or are asking you to commit to things that you don't feel drawn to commit to, again, this is you setting those healthy boundaries and really standing up for your own sanity and your own mental health. And so it's like if I do feel like this, it feels very chaotic. So it feels like a lot of people coming to you, needing you and needing your attention and that sort of thing, or needing your help. And this is where it really comes into setting those boundaries and being very, very discerning when you choose what you will invest your energy into. So again, if unnecessary obligations come up for you, then say no. That's okay, right? Protect your energy, protect your space. If they just feel overly burdensome, like people are asking you to commit to things that just don't speak to you, that don't call to you, it is okay to say no. And so I feel like you're going to be challenged to do that towards the end of the month. So again, where does your peace and harmony lie? How can you tap into that? If taking on this commitment is going to bring chaos into your life, it is okay to say no. And so I feel like you may be tested a little bit here to see if you can do that. And then you'll reap those rewards if you're able to do that, right? Because sixes, I think, do struggle sometimes with saying no, for standing up for themselves, because you do have that sort of people pleaser energy about you just because you're so loving and nurturing, right? And so that's part of the journey for a six, is to harness that energy and to understand that you have to look out for yourself first as far as your health and your sanity, your mental health, right? And taking on other people's commitments and obligations and responsibilities when they're not yours to take on can create that chaos within your life. It moves beyond helping others and supporting others, and it actually becomes kind of toxic. And so I feel like you're going to have some opportunities at the end of the month to say no and stand your ground and be okay with that. And those that want to shame you or make you feel inadequate because you're not showing up for them in the way that they're used to you showing up, or feel like you should be showing up, they'll get over it. They will move on. And so that is where it comes into, I feel like, with this energy of kind of like King of Swords energy, where it's like you're standing in your ground, you're standing in your truth, you're communicating honestly to others what you feel capable of taking on at this moment, and they are meant to respect those boundaries. Okay. So interesting energy, sixes. I feel like it's a little intense for you this month, but it is a six universal energy. So like I said, you're probably going to feel that a little bit strongly. But it feels really powerful, and kind of the headway that you can make towards your own inner growth, in finding your own peace and harmony of saying no and standing your ground, of, putting yourself and your health first. So again, however that comes in for you, but don't forget Ladybug's message, because I think it's so perfect and beautiful for you sixes, especially this month, which is, this is the time of good fortune and abundance. So be willing to receive all good things in your life. Okay? Don't always look for the other shoe to drop, because it's not necessarily going to. So beautiful energies. I hope that the beginning of 2021 for you is prosperous and transformative in a beautiful way. And until we meet again, take care. Bye for now.